Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if this is not your first time here. My name is Marisha and I am not okay. I'm not okay. So I'm currently in exam period, like I'm in the thick of it. I'm giving out exams, I'm receiving exams, I'm marking exams, I'm grading exams, I'm crying over these exams. And while I'm going through like this modge podge of feelings and emotions, I was sitting down with one of the other teachers at the school, and we were just having like a conversation about how we're feeling, how the transition from being virtual for so many years to now being face to face. Like we were just having general conversations because she started right before the pandemic. So she was face to face for like 3 months before she did 2 years virtual, well, 2.5 years virtual, and now coming back face to face. And so we were just talking about like the differences and the issues that we are now facing. And she made the comment, actually, she's like, if I can go back and tell myself like one thing to like change or keep to the forefront or like not fall into like a trap to not fall into, she said it would be that she would tell herself to prioritize herself, take care of herself, because with education, it seems as though they want your only priority to be your job. Like your life comes second, your family comes second, your social circle comes second. It's how it feels. Like with education, it's just like you do your contracted hours, but there's always more to do. Like I tell people, a teacher's brain literally never shuts off. You're always thinking of what comes next, how to teach this, how to review this, how to test for this, how to make this enjoyable, how to make this understandable, how long it's going to take you to get this concept across to your students before you can test for understanding. That was the one thing that she told herself, like if she could go back in time, that's the one thing that she would tell herself, to prioritize herself. I was very lucky and very fortunate to have someone tell me that from the very beginning, and not just anyone, the vice principal at this school. She told me very early on, she's like, hey, you're a specialist, you have a specialized schedule. Whatever you cannot get done in your contracted hours, put it off until the next day. She's the vice principal told me this. Whatever work you cannot get done in your contractual hours, put it off. Because like she said, I have a very special schedule. I teach this year, I taught from after lunch to the end of the day. So sometimes I was like 12:45-ish to 3. I had a very flexible, workable schedule. And so she showed me how to like lay out my schedule. So like Monday mornings, I would be lesson planning. Tuesday mornings, I would be inputting grades. Wednesday morning, I would be grading. Thursday morning, I would be finalizing my lesson plan for the upcoming week. And Friday was just like a hodgepodge of different things that I can get done. So she showed me a way to lay out my schedule, which made it very, very easy for me to say at the end of my contracted hours, which was 8:45 to 3:15, I can get my work for the day done, or even start prepping for the next day within my contracted hours. Now during exam period, it's a little different because I was doing exams from 9:30 most days until 3. They had me sitting GLAD examinations, which is like a standardized exam for 3rd and 6th graders in the Bahamas. They had me sitting that in the morning, and I was giving my exams in the afternoon. So that interrupted my schedule. So I am having to do some grading at home. But for the most part, the year hasn't been that stressful on me because I have a specialized schedule. I learned how to work my schedule, and someone told me to put myself first from the very beginning. But I understand how for general teachers, that's not the case. They don't have a specialized schedule. They're with their kids from 8:45 till 3:15 every single day, unless they have a specialist, which they only had for 30 minutes twice a week this school year. So 100% I understand like how stressful and taxing that could be. But when she said that, it got me thinking, what is the one thing, knowing what I know now, what would I go back and tell myself? And now that I'm in the thick of grading exams and like giving exams and really just seeing everything hit the fan, the one thing I would tell myself, and this is for like any like first time teacher, I think I would tell myself that you're doing good. I would tell myself you're doing good, because I'm going through something right now. Like, okay, story. I'm going through giving exams. And so after giving the kids the work for classwork, giving it to them for homework, giving it to them as a quiz, giving it to them as a test, going through revision, like telling them this is going to be on the exam. This is what you need to know. I'm giving you this in English. You have to give me this in Spanish. Or I'm giving you this in Spanish. You have to give me this in English. After literally hours of telling them explicitly, I mean, short of giving them the exact answer, which a few times I gave them the exact answer, I'm getting these exams back and I'm just like, was I talking to myself? And I mean, it's predominantly with the 6th graders. At the end of the exam, I had to ask them, I'm like, when I was in the front of this class, like telling you what's on the exam, and you guys were writing notes and telling me you understand and telling me it's going to be so easy, what happened to that? Like, where did that energy go? And I was speaking with another teacher, and she just kind of told me like, hey, I get it, but before the pandemic, these kids were 4th graders, and they spent all of 4th grade, 5th grade, and half of 6th grade at home. They're not used to this kind of like school climate. But I still am, because I still have a few more to grade, but I'm flabbergasted with, I guess, I don't want to say how lazy or lackadaisical, but just how uninterested and just like, I don't know. I don't even know the word in English or in Spanish to describe just how like confounded I am that you can give kids the answers and they still will get the questions wrong. And so I won't even lie, I had an emotional moment where I was like, did I feel like, why is it that they can't get it? Like, I kept like pounding it like I was the problem. It was me. I didn't do enough. I didn't explain deep enough. I didn't make appropriate like connections. And then I was grading some other papers, and it was like a handful of students from every single grade. The class was like a little cluster of students from all of the classes that passed. And I don't even mean like barely passed. Like, I'm not like a 52%, with like 96%. There were students that got like one question wrong, and I'm like, oh my God, thank you. I'm like, I had to tell a student like in the exam, I looked through them and I'm like, Shantae, thank you. Thank you so much. Like, I am so appreciative of you. And she's like, for what? Miss Cartwright, like, thank you for what? And I'm like, for letting me know that I wasn't talking to myself. Like, I wasn't like standing up here for 30 minutes minimum, because some days I was like dipping into the other teacher's time to like continue this lesson. And I thank you for letting me know that I wasn't up here for X amount of minutes talking to myself until my mouth was dry and like yelling until my voice was gone, and just like standing up here hot and sweaty and nervous and doubting myself. Thank you for letting me know that, like, at the end of the day, it wasn't me, because the students that wanted to get it got it, right? I feel like I did a really good job of stretching myself thin and making myself as available as possible. So yeah, I can come in 20 minutes earlier in the morning. If you're here, we can go through it. You can come at break and I'll go over it with you. You can come at lunch, I'll go over it with you. If you want me to stay after school for 20 minutes, I'll go over it with you. Like, I overexerted myself, and I made myself available to everyone at every time. If you wanted me to email you notes, if you wanted me to handwrite the notes on the board so that you can handwrite them in your book, I did it. I did it all. And coming down to these exams and like grading them, I went through a lot of emotions. I went through all of the emotions, every single one. Like, I was sad, I was upset, I was happy that like the few kids got it, but then I was like, why couldn't everyone? And I don't know. You're doing good. You're doing good. It took me a while to realize like that I would always tell my students would always say, oh, Senorita Cartwright, I don't understand, I don't know what to do, or I don't know what I'm saying, or I don't think I'm doing a good job. And I would always just tell them like, hey, I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm asking you to try. I want you to just try your best. And I promise if you can show me that you're trying, you will be fine. I will understand what it is you're trying to say. But at the end of the day, I had to take the same words that I was giving my students and turn it on myself. Like, hey, just try your best. Once you know 100% without a shadow of a doubt that you have done your absolute best, I'm not perfect, but I'm doing my absolute best with the knowledge that I have and the knowledge that I've garnered and the experience that I'm getting and the materials at hand. Like, I'm doing my absolute best. But yes, if I can go back and tell myself one thing, I would tell myself, you're doing a great job. You're doing good. You're not failing any of the students. You're not letting any of them down. You are doing exactly what you were taught to do. And you're doing exactly what you've practiced. You're literally practicing what you've preached. And you're doing good. You can't manage students' desire to learn, or sometimes it was difficult working with students that had learning disabilities. It was difficult working with students that came into the school for the first time 2 weeks before exams. That is the end of this video. For any first-time teachers out there, this is for you. You're awesome. You're a superhero. You're doing your best. You're doing a fantastic freaking job. And just take it easy on yourself and be kind to yourself. Being a teacher in the current climate is not easy. It is a thankless job. It is an underpaid, underrated, understaffed occupation. It's such a passionate job. Good. You're doing a great job. That is it. I'm done rambling. Adios, guys.
Black top coupe tryna lay low, and you know I'm all about the narrow. No, I keep it here on my payroll. 0 to 100 when I say so.